Hi. Okay, I have an older journal, just about caught up, because this one's from 6/11, and the Mayan. There were 4 journals that day. That's about when things started to really crank up for me again, and they're not slowing down yet. The Mayan day was 6 deer. So let's see what was in it. Wow, it's been a good while since one day racked up 4 journals, but here it is. Made it by less than half an hour, too. Oh, I guess this thing was almost midnight. What fun. What fun to feel inspired, that is. It's tricky to describe this feeling of being more or less pregnant with a journal about the subject or content of which you're clueless. What an adventure this life is. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm beginning to look at these things that when we try to describe them, we somehow know they just won't fit into words. It comes to me that the feelings themselves may be from other dimensions, that we're being multidimensional in picking them up. And I don't know yet, just a suspicion, so I'll be watching. That usually works. I'm feeling somehow enabled to share with you on a much deeper level, and I don't understand that. I've always shared, or felt I did, as deeply as I could. I haven't been holding things back, certainly not intentionally. Yet now, somehow, the camera seems able to pick up more of me or something. There, how's that for an awkward way of expressing? Oh well, those in heart will just know. How are you doing at accepting your presence simply everywhere and every when? Have you decided yet to adopt that as your belief? Or perhaps you had it already and you have much to report on it. That would be fun. If you're comfortable with this already, this being in superposition everywhere, do clue us in to what your secret was to its acceptance. What made it easy for you? I'm finding now that the body-mind is like a central station for me, but that I'm not truly even located there. This whole thing of who am I, or even what am I, is really fertile pondering ground. So much can be gained and even more shed, which is more to the point for us now. It's a time of massive surrendering. Now, of course, I can only report from my perspective, share my view. I'm well aware that others are having even radically different experiences of life, and I'm fine with that. I don't want a life full of clones. Perish the thought. It's a terrible idea. That perhaps comes of people believing they are their bodies and shooting for some sort of warped immortality. It's strange. Why would anyone fear dying now is so far beyond me as to be simply strange. That's more like our real home over there than this is or ever dreamed of being. Repeatedly, you'll hear the NDE experiencers sharing how that's real and this isn't. If anything, the other side is more real than this. So why be afraid? We know a big part of it is due to the errors preached by various religions. The whole concept of hell is an invented thing. Did you know that? It doesn't come from the Bible at all. Here's a lovely documentary laying that out, The History of the Devil. Link is in the transcript. He's an invention of men, not a creation of God, and this is a good documentary, very factual. So, sure, much of our fear around dying is likely based in religion. Let's do what we can to get past it then. Fear always marks where we've given some of our power away to something out there. In this, I accept the body's natural fear when placed in danger. That's an exception. And that's a good one for the species. But there is nothing to fear upon dying, and the sooner we work through our death fears, the sooner we'll be truly free. There are two principles that are so overriding, so applicable across the board to things that I feel they deserve to be taught even in grade school. One is that we magnetize or bring to the self that which we fear. It's truly like putting a call out to bring whatever it is right to your door. The harder we try to run from things, the faster they pursue. There's just no getting away. We bring some fear over from other lives. They're persistent. The other principle is that we become what we fight, what we resist. The harder we fight it, the more others can look at us and see how we're becoming more and more like our supposed enemy. We generally can't see it because we're just too close to the whole situation. And I'll bet many of you have already noticed this in your friends. Heck, most of us have. And yet, it forms no part of our basic education. I find that rather strange. Classes on being human. There's a thought. Maybe we should set them up on the other side so we can take them before taking incarnation. So we'll be more ready. A little wisdom learned early on could do a lot for the planet. Lately, we've been making rather a mess of things. It's certainly time to be waking up. But so has it been for the last number of centuries. We are so blessed to be the ones finally doing it. Rah, rah. Maybe I sound like a broken record, but I really do feel that everything, no matter what, is here for our benefit. Yes, even and especially the challenging stuff. That which we'd never choose in our right mind. When it comes to us, even though we don't appear to have any choice about that, we still do retain certain powers of choice. We're not powerless unless we choose to be. We can play the victim. The first thing we can choose, though it's best chosen well before the challenge arrives, is our attitude to such things. There is simply a huge difference in the experiences of two people receiving the same calamity. One who has an uplifting attitude and the other who doesn't. The outcome for them can be like day and night, that different. Beyond that, even, the one with the uplifting, the positive attitude, the one who views all that comes her way as somehow either being or containing a blessing, that one is likely to experience fewer of the challenges in the first place, due to her attitude. One day and soon we'll all know for certain how thought and feeling is our power of creation, that we create our life experience. Why we don't know it yet is something to ponder. It's there to be seen. I guess it goes to show the great power of our beliefs to contort and control what we perceive. Life has been made more than uncomfortable here on Earth in 3D. I think we'd all agree there. Strange thing, this free will we've all been given, what some choose to do with that, to become predators on their fellow man or creatures. What makes it even more strange, even bizarre, is how they're in process of creating such a horrible future for themselves, and somehow they seem blind to that. To harm your fellow man, your fellow creature, is quite literally to harm the self. The harm may be displaced in time, there may be a wait for it, but it will surely arrive. Yet they blithely go on perpetrating the most heinous acts, thinking they do so unnoticed and in secret. Oh, the horror when they finally find out. Before long, I suspect that nothing much will be able to be kept in secret, though that's been the history of the powers that were. In their manipulation of mankind, they're already losing that cloak, that secrecy. More and more is coming out and being shared online. The powers that were are going rather crazy, trying to keep their dark works hidden. The level of spying going on is way over the top, beyond the bounds of anything remotely reasonable. Did you know they have spy drones now developing that are the size of a mosquito? They're losing it, and it shows. It's their fear and terror making them do this. Well, sure, they likely have a good bit of power yet remaining to them. I'm not saying they're ready to collapse, make nice, and wage peace for a change. Let's not hold our breath. Still, they're being besieged in ways they're certainly not used to. They used to command far more fear than they do today. And that's good. As we process our own fears, we become more and more unmanageable, uncontrollable by anything outside of the self and our free will. We stand in our power and don't allow ourselves to be moved as we once did. And this isn't 100% consistent. Not yet. Torture is a terrible way, but successful at forcing many to go against their own will. Still, speaking overall, they are losing their power swiftly. They're going down, just not without a fight. As we're all rising in frequency and consciousness, those words being likely synonymous, we're leaving the bad guys behind. They're in the lower vibes. They can't keep up with that, nor would they want to. It makes them uncomfortable. Their choice instead is to do all within their power to keep us vibrating more in their range, lower. Their aim is to keep us in anger and fear and all of that rot. Have you noticed? I think a lot of their in-your-face behavior is designed with that in mind. I'd love to see all of us get quite good at least being willing to process our fear, instead of it being something we suppress or avoid. That would be so awesome. Then, along with our rising frequency overall and envisioning the paradise of our choice, we would also be impossible to manipulate. The powers that were still probably wouldn't cry uncle. Nonetheless, they would be even more severely handicapped. Now, here's what I wonder, my friends. Before I go on, I want to say Byron Katie is an excellent example. That is not someone that can be manipulated in any way, shape, or form. Wait till you find out what she did to the guy who had a gun at her gut and told her he was going to kill her. You want to see unmanipulatable, even though that's not a word? Check out that video. Okay, here's what I wonder, my friends, and I ask for your input and answers. Why would these people, these dark guys who live here with us on Earth, the ones playing villain, be doing things to so poison the very air that they breathe, the land, and the water. It just doesn't make good sense. Then again, do consider that they are also, in their awful behavior, creating a horrendous future for themselves. And they just don't seem to know this. Yet they surely know they're ruining the environment, poisoning the food, and simply everything. I don't get it. Do they honestly think they can so isolate themselves that they and their families won't be impacted? That would be to severely restrict their movements. It would make me claustrophobic. Not be able to get out and breathe the air. I know many have been what I call fooled into believing that they can save themselves by going underground, and that the aliens will repair the environment when the danger has passed. Still, surely there can't be all that many believing that, can there? There are some others who firmly believe that Earth is already a goner and that the aliens will come and whisk them away to safety on some other similar planet. Good luck with that. Prison colony, here we come. Or there they go. My guess would be that just as they are, the aliens they're working with are double-crossers. That other planet is probably a holding pen sort of place, a corral to keep the livestock fat and healthy, and producing whatever it is they want produced. I like the way Wayne Dyer says it. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. I don't know if it's original with him, but he's the one I heard say it, and I had to jot it down. It makes perfect sense. So, if you're honorable and walk in truth and integrity, as most of us do, you can know that's the sort of future you're creating for you. And if you're a lying, no good sack of manure, you can just expect to be used by others to fertilize their crops. And you've created that by being that way. So when we point the finger at life and moan and groan at how horrible it is, we're not entirely right. For sure, we're not recognizing our own creation there, but that's not all. Just because bad things happen to you does not mean you earned that in some way. We also choose the things that will happen to us, pre-birth, mind you, in order to break out of the shell quicker. Come on. How about we all look back and begin recognizing that our toughest times always produced some really good fruit in us? No, and hell no, we wouldn't, in our conscious right mind, have selected those experiences. But in our higher mind, we certainly did. Can we begin to own that? Or at least to own the fact that it's possible? That would be really great. There's just way too much blaming and judgment going on down here. And we've got to lighten it up. It's no fun. We're able to lighten things up, you know. We just have to keep taking our power back more and more. To blame or to fear is to be giving power away, and it's time we begin to recognize that. And maybe even help each other to do so. Go easy on that, though. Remember, your job is only you. I know I'm working on it. How about you? Good day.